Hey there everyone, happy Wednesday. King 5 Meteorologist Adam Claibon here with you as we get ready to head into the first part of the night. Very clear, it took a while, but that sun eventually did start to come out and we should see more sunshine again heading into the day tomorrow. Even though we had a lot of clouds sticking around for a good portion of the day, that did not keep temperatures from making their way into the upper 50s and low 60s. So we're going to talk about that here right now. Plus we're going to talk about eventually some more rain and maybe some mountain snow heading into next week. But let's get into those temperatures first. Highs today up around the mid 50s in Bellingham, 59 out of the airport at SEA, and then 62 there in Olympia. And you can see if that record, or if that temperature, does hold up, and that's going to be confirmed by the National Weather Service, well, we will have a new daily record for today's date. The old record was back in 2009, so you can see we're dealing with some pretty spring-like conditions, definitely well above average. And the next couple of days will feature more of the same. More of the other numbers here across the region. 61 in Quileute, 60 in Hoquiam, 64 in Puyallup, and 61 in Everett. So if it felt warm out there to you, yeah, it definitely was, especially for this time of the year. And here's a look at what we're expecting over the next few days. That ridge of high pressure where you can see that deeper, darker red right there, that's going to be hanging with us for a little while longer, and that's not going to be moving much up anywhere at all. You can see that over the next day or so, very little movement. So more sunshine, probably getting a good portion of it heading into the day for tomorrow, then noticing things changing up a little bit on Friday. More so into the weekend, though. That's when the thicker clouds of the rain will start to come back into the picture for us, and we'll definitely deal with more of that active weather on into next work week. All right, here's a look at that on your 7-day forecast. That all comes together over the weekend with the active weather. Cooler temperatures continuing to find their way in here even into next work week, with highs falling back into the upper 40s. Next couple of days, however, will continue to stay more spring-like with those highs near the 60-degree mark. And keep an eye out for some of those areas of morning fog. Here's the sun up this way around Paradise, and yeah, our snowpack is really limited. It's definitely lacking, and we're going to try to do our best to try to add on to that heading into next week. Here around Tacoma, again, sun took a while to get here, but we finally have it in a beautiful shot of Mount Rainier. Looking at Everett, those clouds, well, they're around. They're helping to provide a filtered look to the sunshine, but still a lot of that sun making its way down to the surface here where we are at ground level, and we can see that here in Seattle as temperatures currently sit in the upper 50s early into your Wednesday evening. Clear skies ahead for tonight, and that will lead to some areas dealing with fog early tomorrow morning, so make sure to give yourself a little extra time for that. And overnight lows probably in the upper 30s for many of us. Here's radar, and sprinkles up across the extreme northern part of the state heading into southern BC and over towards Alberta. Other than that, high pressure is in control, and again, it continues to lift northward, so we're going to see more of that clearing as we go throughout the night, and it's really directing and diverting a lot of that active weather that you see out over the Pacific up into BC and into Alaska. Continuing on here, you can see futurecast kind of showing you more evidence of that. We really don't have a lot of action at all here into the night or cloud coverage at all. Early tomorrow morning, we might have some thin clouds and some patchy areas of fog. We'll start off with that, but then we'll get into more of the afternoon, see a good amount of sunshine around, and give us another pretty spring-like day ahead. We'll head on into more of early Friday morning, and this is when we start to see some changes on the horizon. Out over towards the coast, there are some showers out that way, and those will continue to add into more of maybe sprinkles or mist out that way, but really don't see much headway farther to the east until we head into the weekend for Saturday. This is 8 p.m. on Friday, and you can see areas here closer to I-5 are not really seeing much in terms of cloud coverage, and definitely not any of that rain that you saw out towards the coast. But then once we do head on into Saturday morning, here's that band. It's beginning to make its way on in here, and we'll see some steady rain throughout the course of the day on Saturday, and then see some decreasing showers heading on to the day on Sunday as this moves on through. As far as snowfall with this here across the mountains, not really getting a whole lot. Snow levels are still going to be relatively high, especially around our passes. So we're talking about snow levels around 6,000 feet, so that will be above pass level. Maybe Paradise getting a little bit of that here, but definitely not seeing a whole lot as that moves on through. As we continue on, however, we are going to start to notice things changing in terms of that, because this is going to be the leading edge of a different pattern, which will help to bring in some cooler air from the north, and that's going to be with this trough of low pressure that really will start to set up. Now, this is 6:30 heading into early Sunday morning, and still some relatively high snow levels, but by the evening, you start to notice a bit more of this blue popping up. That's when we start to see those snow levels getting closer to about 4,000, maybe 3,500 feet, and that's going to help with snow across the Cascades into Washington State, into Oregon State, and all of that for us here as we go throughout Sunday night into Monday, and then we keep that going into Tuesday. You can see that begins to dive southward into California, and this pattern is going to be with us. So more the middle to latter part of the month of February might be more favorable in getting more of that snow up here and trying to replenish the very low snowpack that we have here across parts of the Pacific Northwest. How much are we expecting right now? Well, nothing really too impressive yet. This is through 1 p.m. on Monday, and you can see anywhere between about a half a foot to a foot of snow so far expected. But again, the really good stuff and the colder systems don't really arrive until we head into the middle to latter part of next week. So that's when we're really going to expect to see at least a bit more of the snow piling up at that point. Now, just something else too, I wanted to show you. That system is diving southward as we head on into the latter part of the weekend, but it's not going to be in time to produce any sort of issues for the Super Bowl. Here's our forecast. Seahawks, Patriots, temperatures in the mid-60s around kickoff down that way in Santa Clara. And we'll have maybe a few sun breaks, but we're probably expecting more clouds because this system that's going to be bringing us some rainfall into the daytime hours of Sunday is going to be actually just north of there and helping to produce more of the cloud coverage for them. And that looks to be pretty much it. Your forecast tonight, we'll see lows in the 30s in some spots, especially where we have more of those clear skies, and then low 40s in others. Highs tomorrow making their way up into the mid-50s around Bellingham. Blaine getting up to 55. We'll top off at 50 around Orcas Island and around areas such as Oak Harbor. Coopville seeing highs in the low 50s there while getting back into more the mid to upper 50s around Arlington. Marysville 60s possibly in Granite Falls should be nice there. Gold Bar up to 63. 62 in Maple Valley, upper 50s and low 60s around parts of King County. The Kitsap Peninsula more so the mid 50s there. Puyallup, it looks like we'll hit a high of about 58 degrees, 59 at Tenino, and continuing farther south getting closer to the Oregon state line. Better chances of seeing the 60s down into those parts, while out towards the coast we'll see highs right around that 60-degree mark in the upper 50s and low 60s there. A bit cooler for us up around Nia Bay. Quilcene up to 62 degrees. Shelton reaching a high of 57. Here's your 7-day forecast, and we're going to keep those highs pretty spring-like here for Thursday and Friday. We get the transition period over the weekend with that system coming on through. Cooler and rainy, but not really seeing much in terms of mountain snow, but then we'll get the better chances of mountain snow as we get into later next week as the colder air really begins to settle in and begins to drop those snow levels. Okay, everyone, well, hopefully you enjoyed today, and finally we got to see the sunshine. Get ready to enjoy more of it heading into the day on Thursday and some of it on Friday as well. And yeah, let's go Seahawks. If you have any plans outdoors and any of those parties outdoors on Sunday, make sure to plan for the rain. Take care, everyone, and have a great Thursday or Wednesday night.